Everyone admired Yi Ji. She was brilliant, and naturally, people wanted to be her friend. But Yi Ji didn't let her popularity get to her head. She was known for standing up for those who couldn't stand up for themselves. One lunchtime in the school cafeteria, Dong Yu, a heavyset boy who was often alone, was enjoying his meal. He didn't have many friends and was often overlooked. His innocent nature and timid personality made him an easy target for bullies. As he ate, a handsome but notoriously cruel upperclassman started to harass him. The bully taunted and ridiculed Dong Ju, who was too afraid to even speak up in his own defense. The cafeteria buzzed with whispers about the bully's actions, but no one dared intervene. Dong Yu felt humiliated, the focus of unwanted attention, but his fear paralyzed him. Yi Ji stepped in just as Dong Yu was about to resign himself to the abuse. She knew the upperclassman's reputation for being vicious, and decided to lend Dong Yu a hand. She pointedly took out her phone and pretended to take a picture. The bully, who was part of a prestigious school group, instantly panicked. He knew that if a photo of him bullying someone went viral, his reputation, and possibly his future, would be ruined. He was terrified of being exposed online. Yi Ji, however, revealed she hadn't taken a picture of him. Instead, she snapped a selfie with Dong Yu, declaring that they were now friends. The bully was even more mortified. He secretly had a crush on Yi Ji, and couldn't believe she would choose to befriend someone like Dong Yu. Defeated and humiliated, the bully slunk away. The other students, witnessing Yi Ji's intervention, assumed there must be something special going on between her and Dong Yu. They swarmed Dong Yu, eager to learn more about his connection to the popular Yi Ji. Dong Yu, basking in the unexpected attention, couldn't help but feel a surge of triumph. The bully, now completely ignored, sat dejectedly alone. Dong Yu knew he owed his newfound social standing entirely to Yi Ji. To express his gratitude, he offered her money as a thank you gift. Later that day, in the school auditorium, Su Bin was performing a piano piece on stage. He was talented and handsome, and Yi Ji secretly admired him. Although they weren't officially a couple, the girls around Yi Ji seemed to acknowledge their connection. As her friends teased her about Su Bin, Yi Ji knew deep down that he wasn't particularly close to her. After Su Bin received his award, he sought out Yi Ji privately. He had something he wanted to tell her. When another girl from a different class tried to ask him out, Su Bin politely but firmly declined. He then turned his attention back to Yi Ji. This interaction led a nearby classmate to spread rumors that Su Bin and Yi Ji were dating. While Yi Ji wished it were true, she knew their comfortable relationship stemmed from their long-standing childhood friendship. Back in 10th grade, a seemingly deliberate action by Su Bin led the innocent Yi Ji to believe he liked her too. A video of them holding hands surfaced online, further solidifying the idea that they were a couple in the eyes of their classmates. By 11th grade, Su Bin's actions only fueled the rumors. He would often show Yi Ji special attention in public, causing the other girls in their class to gossip. With everyone's attention on them, Yi Ji decided it was time to make their relationship official. She recorded a video conversation with Su Bin, convinced that this was the moment they would finally become a couple. But when she poured her heart out to him, Su Bin coldly rejected her. After a night of soul-searching, Yi Ji realized that Su Bin had never actually liked her. By the time they had a private conversation the next day, she had moved on. Their interaction felt completely platonic, just like any other friendship. Back in class, Yi Ji recounted the story to her friends. She explained that Su Bin couldn't reciprocate her feelings, and joked that they were more like best buds. Upon hearing this, her friends suddenly transformed into amateur relationship experts, offering unsolicited advice and explanations. But as the main character in this story, Yi Ji remained unfazed by their chatter. She nonchalantly pulled out her lipstick and began applying it, instantly capturing the attention of her bespectacled friend, Daeyoon. The previous topic was immediately abandoned. Inspired by the lipstick, Daeyoon shifted the conversation to the upcoming arts festival. Yi Ji then asked Daeyoon who she was planning to go with. Daeyoon admitted she hadn't decided yet, but a nearby handsome classmate suggested she and Su Bin perform a piano duet. This suggestion sparked something within Daeyoon. Daeyoon, who never wore makeup, decided to try lipstick for the first time. As she was secretly applying it in the restroom, their friend Se-na walked in. Instead of acknowledging Daeyoon's shyness, Se-na bluntly told her to be confident and own her makeup. With that, Se-na left. Daeyoon felt a mix of emotions. She was slightly annoyed by Se-na's bluntness, and also a little disheartened that Su Bin seemed to be interested in Yi Ji. But little did she know, some exciting news was on its way. Yi Ji, seeing that Su Bin had asked to meet her, assumed he was finally going to confess his feelings. She took extra care with her appearance before their meeting. However, when Su Bin revealed his true intentions, Yi Ji's world turned upside down. She had been so sure she would end up with the person she liked. But learning that Subin actually liked Dayoon left her stunned and in disbelief. So Bin's choice left Yi-ji feeling a pang of disappointment. In a chance encounter, Yi-ji's lingering hopes were finally dashed, confirming that Subin did not reciprocate her feelings. His confession of liking Dayoon shattered Yi-ji's illusions, leaving her heartbroken and deeply wounded. The pain lingered, making it difficult for her to move on. Alone in her room that night, she received a text from a classmate. Seeing that it was about her relationship woes, she immediately locked her phone screen, unwilling to engage. The following morning at school, Yi-ji was standing alone in front of the main building when Subin suddenly appeared. He acted solicitous and caring, like a boyfriend. This confused Yi-ji. Why was he still showing her attention after choosing Dayoon? But that wasn't the worst part. When Dayoon arrived and saw Bin's interaction with Yi-ji, Yi-ji felt like a third wheel. Witnessing the look in Subin's eyes as he gazed at Dayoon, any remaining flicker of hope in Yi-ji's heart was extinguished. Meanwhile, Ju-hyuk was also nursing a secret crush on his close friend. Standing in the hallway watching her, he felt a mix of happiness and sadness. After much contemplation, he resolved to find a way to pursue his love interest. Back in the classroom, Ju-hyuk brought up the previous topic with Yi-ji, but she was now consumed by the sadness of her unrequited love. She had no interest in answering his questions, while Ju-hyuk, fueled by hope and a surge of romantic energy, remained oblivious to her mood. Their conversation was interrupted by an important announcement, shifting everyone's attention. The news of Dongju landing a contract excited the whole class. Seeing him dressed sharply only confirmed their suspicions that he had been signed by a management company. Knowing that Dongju owed his success to Yi-ji, his classmates jokingly suggested he should return the favor and help them all out. But Yi-ji was preoccupied with her own thoughts, fixated on Subin. Seeing the person she secretly loved now attached to Dayoon amplified her heartache. Throughout the class, Yi-ji replayed the moment her dream shattered. This time she remembered more details. So Bin hadn't just confessed his feelings for Dayoon. He had also asked Yi-ji to deliver a love letter to Dayoon for him, and to publicize their relationship online. Yi-ji, understandably, had refused, storming off in anger. During break time, Yi-ji ran into Dayoon in the restroom. They had a brief, awkward exchange. Dayoon thanked Yi-ji, assuming she had made a painful sacrifice by giving up Subin. Yi-ji, without saying a word, simply walked away. Meanwhile, Dongju returned home, boasting to his roommate, Seon-jae, about his newfound success. But his roommate remained indifferent, engrossed in making music on his computer. As if Yi-ji's situation couldn't get any worse, while walking with a friend, she bumped into Subin, adding another layer of discomfort to her already difficult day. Neither of them spoke, and Se-na, assuming her presence was making them uncomfortable, deliberately lingered, giving them space. However, Dayoon's arrival surprised her. Upon learning that Subin and Dayoon were attending the arts festival together, Yi-ji abruptly excused herself. Watching Yi-ji walk away, Subin, who had known her for 10 years, rushed after her. He reached out and gently grabbed her hand, but this time, Yi-ji wasn't touched. Instead, she uttered a scathing remark that made him release his grip. As the tension between them thickened, Se-na and Dayoon approached. Seizing the opportunity, Subin quickly excused himself and left with Dayoon. Memories of Subin flooded Yi-ji's mind, filling her with anger and confusion. Why would he choose an ordinary girl over her? Overwhelmed by emotion, she confronted Subin, demanding an explanation. But his response was indifferent and dismissive. Yi-ji's feelings shifted from secret admiration to resentment. To console herself, she began plotting her revenge. While Yi-ji's romantic life was in turmoil, Dongju was experiencing a moment of triumph. After his newfound fame, he joined a management company, but he wasn't treated with much respect. Facing the company representative, he became incredibly nervous, resorting to flattery and self-deprecation to win them over. In reality, he had been tricked into taking a job as a hotel waiter. Seon-jae only learned about Dongju's interview with the management company through gossip. Initially, he didn't pay much attention, preoccupied with his work. However, when news of Dongju's deception became public, he found himself the target of ridicule from the same bullies who had tormented him before. Yi-ji witnessed the upperclassmen harassing Dongju again, and was about to intervene when Seon-jae stepped in. After chasing the bullies away, he turned and angrily confronted Yi-ji, demanding she delete the photo she had posted with Dongju. Yi-ji refused. Seon-jae insulted her before leading Dongju away. To protect Yi-ji's reputation, Dongju publicly declared that he had willingly given her the money. He even thanked her profusely, a gesture that deeply touched Yi-ji. The commotion in the hallway attracted the attention of a teacher, who dispersed the students. The teacher then called Seon-jae and Yi-ji to the staff room for a talk. Seon-jae, known for skipping classes and his lack of academic seriousness, was reprimanded. The teacher also expressed disappointment in Yi-ji. In response to the criticism, Yi-ji simply stated that she would be participating in the arts festival. Later, after leaving school, Yi-ji spoke with Seon-jae again, reiterating her refusal to delete the photo. But Yi-ji continued, "If you agree to partner with me for the arts festival, I'll delete the photo." Seon-jae was completely uninterested. As he turned to leave, Yi-ji stopped him. She launched into a persuasive argument, framing the partnership as mutually beneficial. Seon-jae, a loner by nature, immediately rejected the idea of collaborating with anyone. But Yi-ji wasn't satisfied with his answer. She blocked his path again, and after emphasizing that she valued his musical skills and nothing more, he finally agreed to the partnership. Yi-ji and Soo-bin were fundamentally different. Yi-ji was bold and free-spirited, embracing her emotions, while Soo-bin appeared fickle and emotionally unavailable. On a bright afternoon, Sae-na followed the online seller's instructions to a park for a meetup. There, she saw Dae-yoon. Dae-yoon, turning around, was equally surprised to see her friend. It turned out Dae-yoon was the online seller. Sae-na had been looking to buy a wallet online. Finding the initial price too high, she negotiated a lower price. Thrilled with her bargaining skills, she had arranged to meet the seller in person to complete the transaction. Dae-yoon, realizing the buyer was her classmate, offered to give her the wallet for free. But upon learning it belonged to Dae-yoon, Sae-na's attitude changed drastically. The joy of her successful negotiation vanished, replaced by criticism of the wallet's quality. Sae-na abruptly canceled the deal, leaving Dae-yoon feeling embarrassed. Meanwhile, Soo-bin was facing his troubles. He played piano at a bar, where his skills caught the owner's attention. As he was leaving after his shift, the owner called him back to discuss his pay. An argument ensued. Soo-bin, still a high school student, didn't want to reveal his identity and preferred to be paid in cash. The owner found this inconvenient and suspected Soo-bin hadn't even graduated high school. Exposed, Soo-bin reluctantly agreed to receive his pay via bank transfer. Leaving the bar, he went to buy milk for Yi-ji, as he usually did. Seeing that he had only come for that, Yi-ji immediately walked off. When Soo-bin asked where she was going, she refused to tell him. Seon-jae was hiding at home, playing hooky from school. He ignored Yi-ji's calls. Despite his attempts to cut himself off from the world, Yi-ji tracked him down. His friend opened the door, and Yi-ji seized the opportunity to slip inside. She found Seon-jae asleep on the sofa. Annoyed at being woken up by her antics, he angrily told her to leave. Undeterred, Yi-ji doubled down on her efforts, creating a cacophony of noise to prevent him from sleeping. Despite opening the door twice to shoo her away, Seon-jae's efforts were futile. Yi-ji ended up going to school alone. The classmates expressed their disappointment that Yi-ji hadn't managed to drag Seon-jae to school. Soo-bin, observing the scene, finally understood why Yi-ji was ignoring him. Meanwhile, Sae-na and Joo-hyuk were hitting it off, their shared energetic and humorous personalities creating a lively atmosphere. This only amplified Yi-ji's feelings of dejection as she watched Soo-bin and Dae-yoon chatting privately. Jealousy gnawed at her. Fueled by a desire for revenge, she sought out Seon-jae, resuming her stakeout in front of his house. This time, Yi-ji changed her tactics. Noticing the absence of her usual disruptive behavior, Seon-jae cautiously opened the door to investigate. Yi-ji, anticipating this, was ready and waiting. Before he could unleash his usual barrage of complaints, she quickly covered his mouth. With a renewed, almost desperate plea, she finally managed to coax him out of the house. Under Yi-ji's guidance, Seon-jae arrived at the school gates. Seeing his reluctance to enter, Yi-ji devised a new plan. She hailed a taxi, tricked Seon-jae into opening the door, and pushed him inside. She then directed the driver to her usual stress relief destination. Seon-jae was stunned by the chaotic scene that greeted him. Yi-ji had brought him to clean up after the animals at a local shelter. Seon-jae attempted to flee, but Yi-ji blocked his exit. Trapped, he begrudgingly started cleaning. Meanwhile, Soo-bin, learning of Yi-ji and Seon-jae's budding friendship, became jealous. He felt powerless to intervene, a feeling that gnawed at him. This distraction made it difficult for him to focus during his piano practice with Dae-yoon. Both harboring their anxieties, their practice session ground to a halt. In contrast, Yi-ji and Seon-jae, though not romantically involved, found an unexpected harmony. They chatted openly and honestly, and during a conversation about milk, Seon-jae found himself developing feelings for Yi-ji. Back at school, Yi-ji ran into Soo-bin. He offered her the usual milk, but she silently walked past him into the classroom. Soo-bin followed. Dayoon was sitting in Yeji's seat. Seeing them together, she assumed they were still involved. She knew she couldn't do anything if they were truly meant to be together, a realization that left her feeling insecure and sidelined. When Ju Hyuk inquired about Seon-jae's participation in the arts festival, Subin listened anxiously as Yeji confirmed he might attend, a prospect that clearly unnerved him. As the teacher arrived, everyone submitted their applications for the festival. Se-na and Ju Hyuk practiced their routine, and when the teacher asked Yeji, she confirmed her participation. However, Seon-jae's absence put her in a difficult position. With no partner, the others suggested she team up with Subin. However, the teacher refused, stating Subin should partner with Dayoon. As the three of them stood there awkwardly, Seon-jae finally called Yeji to confirm his participation and submit his application. Suddenly, a message alert pinged on everyone's phones. As they checked their messages, Subin's face fell. Years ago, his piano skills had impressed the bar owner. As he was leaving one night, the owner had cryptically hinted at something more. Back in the present, Subin stared at his phone in disbelief. It was a post about the bar where he worked, revealing his secret. Fearful of exposure, he felt trapped. He wanted to confront Dayoon, suspecting she was behind it, but his fear held him back. His suspicion was confirmed when he realized the message containing the video had indeed been sent by Dayoon. Just then, Seon-jae arrived at school. Subin, seeing this, abandoned his attempt to reconcile with Yeji. Dayoon, seizing the opportunity to drive a wedge between Subin and Yeji, deliberately sent a video of herself and Subin talking to everyone in the class. Everyone who received the video assumed they were a couple, but the most dramatic reaction came not from Yeji, but from Subin. He panicked, thinking Dayoon had sent everyone a video of him working at the bar, relieved to discover it was a different video, and that his part-time job remained a secret. He regained his composure. However, his troubles weren't over. Short on tuition money, Subin was called to the teacher's office for a serious talk. He realized Dayoon had discovered his part-time job and had even taken a picture of him with the bar owner. Because she liked him, she hadn't exposed him publicly, opting instead to leverage the information for her gain. Subin refused to be manipulated. He confronted the bar owner about Dayoon's actions. Only then did Dayoon realize Subin's financial struggles. She offered to help, but Subin rejected her offer, refusing to be indebted to her. Dayoon left, disheartened by Subin's indifference. That evening, Subin texted the bar owner, confirming he would continue working. The next afternoon, he met with the owner again, using his piano skills and a fabricated story about being a university student, needing to earn money to convince him to keep him on. Despite securing his tuition money, Subin remained worried about his secret being exposed. When Yeji invited him to the park and confessed her feelings, he rejected her, burdened by the secrets he couldn't share. Reflecting on their past, Subin realized he couldn't be with Yeji, even though he longed to be her boyfriend. He now resorted to watching her from afar. Seeing the object of his affection looking at his rival, Dayoon decided to make things difficult for Yeji. When the teacher called both Subin and Yeji, Dayoon seized the opportunity to pull Subin out of the classroom. Flaunting their closeness in front of Yeji, Yeji watched them leave, heartbroken. Seon-jae, noticing her distress, took her for a walk. In the teacher's office, Dayoon and Subin discussed their arts festival preparations. The teacher inadvertently mentioned Seon-jae and Yeji, leading Subin to believe they were a couple. This realization filled him with sadness. While walking with Seon-jae, Yeji received a message from an upperclassman, requesting a meeting that evening. She reluctantly agreed. Se-na, leaving Ju Hyuk behind, accompanied Yeji. As the festival approached, Yeji sought out Seon-jae to collaborate on a song. Initially reluctant, Seon-jae agreed after Yeji offered to write the lyrics. Sensing his skepticism about her songwriting abilities, she assured him she could draw inspiration from her own experiences. Seon-jae, now harboring feelings for Yeji, felt a pang of sadness as he realized she was still hung up on Subin. He quietly left. Oblivious to Ju Hyuk's internal drama, Yeji continued writing lyrics. Meanwhile, Ju Hyuk, observing his classmates, indulged in a fantasy where everyone praised him. Lost in this daydream, he couldn't help but strike a melancholic princely pose, imagining compliments on his handsome features. However, his fantasy crumbled upon entering the dance practice room. Seeing the other guys practicing, his imagination deflated, especially when he noticed Se-na intently watching his rival. Jealousy flared, but instead of confronting his competitor, he tried to boost his image, struggling to find a way to capture Se-na's attention. Remembering Se-na's enthusiastic praise of the handsome dancer, Ju Hyuk grew increasingly anxious. Desperate, he texted Yeji, lamenting his inability to understand why Sei Na remained oblivious to his charms. Enlightened, Ju Hyuk decided to learn how to dance. As everyone left the practice room, he began practicing alone. After an exhausting afternoon, a drained Ju Hyuk, still striving for a perfect pose, encouraged himself to keep going. Meanwhile, Yi Ji, tired from writing lyrics, fell asleep at her desk. Seon Jae, arriving home to find her asleep, quietly took his antidepressant medication and lay down on the sofa. Also falling asleep, he plunged into a deep sleep, plagued by disturbing dreams from his past. Jolted awake by the nightmare, he struggled to regain his composure until he heard Ye Ji humming a melody. Coincidentally, Soo Bin was also practicing the same piano piece. Listening to the object of his affection play, Dae-yoon confessed her feelings to Soo Bin, suggesting they officially date, so Bin was taken aback. As their unusual love triangle unfolded, Seon Jae found himself drawn to Yi Ji. As she turned in her chair, their eyes met, a spark igniting between them. Seon Jae, breaking the silence, complimented her song. Yi Ji, surprised by the unexpected praise, was momentarily speechless. Driven by jealousy over losing Soo Bin to Dae-yoon, she partnered with Seon Jae out of spite. Now, faced with his genuine affection, she was unsure how to react. Captivated by her cheerful personality and the song she hummed, Seon Jae, despite his depression, found himself falling deeper for her. He continued to praise her, but she brushed it off playfully, teasing him. Undeterred, he insisted she was better suited to be the lead singer. Just then, Yi Ji received a message from the upperclassmen, reminding her of their appointment. She hurried out, just as Seon Jae received a message from his ex-girlfriend. Reading her positive update about her improved mental state, he smiled. But the message also triggered a memory of negative online comments he had seen earlier. The sheer volume of gossip and criticism, all directed at him, had made him the target of online vitriol. The memory darkened his mood. Back in the classroom, Soo Bin sat alone, still dwelling on the teacher's remark about Seon Jae and Yi Ji being partners. Sei Na's arrival to collect her belongings snapped him out of his reverie. Overhearing Sei Na mention Yi Ji's evening meeting with the older guy, Soo Bin suddenly perked up, anxiously asking about her whereabouts. Meanwhile, in a secluded spot, Yi Ji met with the troublesome upperclassman. Just as they began talking, Soo Bin arrived. Instead of acknowledging him, Yi Ji continued her conversation with the older guy. The upperclassman, kneeling before her, tearfully explained that he had been fired. Despite knowing he was at fault, he showed no remorse for his bullying behavior, instead portraying himself as the victim. Disgusted by his lack of accountability, Soo Bin was about to lash out when Yi Ji stopped him. She proposed a deal. If the upperclassman apologized to Dongju, she would help him. Yi Ji then turned to Soo Bin, who was staring at her silently. Annoyed by his silence, she threatened to withdraw her offer of help. After a brief exchange, Soo Bin finally spoke, asking for a hug. Yi Ji complied. Sensing his distress, she took him to the park to unwind. They jumped on a trampoline for a while, but seeing that Soo Bin was still holding back, she held up 5 fingers, offering him a choice. This gesture triggered a memory of a promise they had made. Each finger represented a different level of apology, a different emotional offering. As the memories flooded back, Soo Bin, recalling Yi Ji's teachings, deliberately chose a finger, indicating his desire to apologize. Yi Ji, however, complained that she hadn't had a chance to talk to him properly before the bar owner called. Reluctantly, Soo Bin stepped aside to answer the call. When Yi Ji asked who it was, he evaded the question, simply stating he had to leave and asking her to wait. Though confused, Yi Ji stayed. As time passed, her patience wore thin. She called Soo Bin, but preoccupied with his work at the bar, he didn't answer. He intended to return to Yi Ji as soon as possible, but the bar owner, unwilling to lose him, refused his request to quit. Meanwhile, Yi Ji sat alone in the park. Seon Jae called, asking when she would be back. The call reminded her of her backup plan. With Soo Bin still absent, she told Seon Jae he didn't need to wait for her. But Seon Jae, ignoring her advice, insisted he would wait. After leaving the bar, Soo Bin didn't go to Yi Ji. Instead, he ran to a secluded alley and cried. Ignoring calls from both Dae-yoon and Yi Ji, he set his phone aside and wept. Exhausted, he eventually fell asleep in the alley. He didn't hear Yi Ji's calls. Just then, Dae-yoon arrived. Seeing Yi Ji's incoming call, she answered. Surprised to hear Dae-yoon's voice, Yi Ji asked about Soo Bin. Dae-yoon, without revealing the truth, simply said she would take care of him. This interference created a misunderstanding between Yi Ji and Soo Bin. Both assumed the other was with Dae-yoon, and Yi Ji gave up on waiting for Soo Bin. Dae-yoon, reminiscing about her past with Soo Bin, finally understood the situation. Short on tuition money, Soo Bin had been forced to ask Dayoon for help. Unwilling to be indebted to her, he had taken on a part-time job to repay her. Their complicated relationship finally came to light. Dayoon's interest in Soo Bin began during their first year. Impressed by Dayoon's piano skills, Yeji introduced her to Soo Bin, mentioning his shared passion for music. This introduction sparked Dayoon's interest, leading to their first interaction. Meanwhile, Yeji's kindness and popularity earned her admiration throughout the school. Numerous secret admirers left letters in her locker, and as her reputation grew, so did the number of admirers. Se-na's connection to Yeji began with an unpleasant encounter. Bullied and seeking help, she had approached Yeji, who initially hadn't offered genuine assistance. Se-na became the first student to offer Yeji money in exchange for help, a gesture that made Yeji uncomfortable. Shortly after, Se-na left a note expressing her dissatisfaction in Yeji's locker. Upon discovering the message, Yeji sought Se-na out. Instead of scolding her, Yeji took a picture with Se-na in front of everyone, effectively shielding her from further bullying. Unwilling to be indebted to Se-na, Yeji also returned the money. So Bin's timid and fearful nature, coupled with Dayoon's immaturity, ultimately hurt Yeji. Facing their constant disregard for her feelings, she finally gave up on Soo Bin. During the freshman orientation, students introduced themselves in the multimedia room. When Yeji's turn came, her popularity preceded her. Everyone knew she was a talented singer. To liven up the introductions, the students encouraged her to sing. As excitement built, she began to sing. Up until this point, everything seemed normal. But then, the multimedia system was hacked. Suddenly, a nude photo of Yeji appeared on the large screen. The room fell silent, everyone staring in shock. Yeji froze, although Soo Bin instantly reacted, rushing to the stage to turn off the projector. The damage was done. Back in the present, realizing Dayoon had answered Soo Bin's phone, Yeji confronted her. After Dayoon hung up, Yeji tried calling Soo Bin, but he ignored her calls. She then went to find Seon-jae. Finding him faithfully waiting at his apartment, Yeji felt a pang of guilt. Composing herself, she sat beside him and cleared her throat to get his attention. Seon-jae, noticing her, playfully teased her. Relieved that he wasn't upset about her long absence, she began recording their song. The first attempt was unsuccessful, as she hadn't yet found the right emotional tone, but she quickly adjusted and successfully recorded the track. Seon-jae, captivated by her voice, listened intently. The next day at school, he asked about Soo Bin. Hearing his name, Yeji hesitated, unable to articulate her complicated relationship with him. In the dance practice room, Se-na injured her ankle. During her break, the teacher called her to the office. To her delight, she learned she had been nominated for a full scholarship for the following year. However, the teacher explained that her application was borderline, and she had likely received the nomination due to strong letters of recommendation. Se-na, unsure who had written them, was nonetheless overjoyed. Back in the classroom, she shared the news with Yeji. Dayoon approached, offering insincere congratulations, which Se-na politely accepted, though surprised by her sudden interest. The other classmates, upon hearing about Se-na's scholarship opportunity, reacted with suspicion rather than genuine happiness. Se-na, initially dismissing it as luck, was taken aback when Dayoon revealed she had orchestrated the scholarship nomination. Realizing the truth, Se-na's expression hardened. Yeji, sensing an impending argument, tried to intervene, but Se-na, ignoring her, unleashed her frustration on Dayoon, insulting her before storming off. Dayoon, furious that someone as poor as Se-na dared to defy her, seethed with anger. Before she could collect herself, Yeji confronted Dayoon about Soo Bin. Their conversation quickly escalated, turning the former classmates into rivals. Yeji questioned Dayoon's claim of caring for Soo Bin, pointing out she didn't even know where he was. Dayoon retorted that she was always there for Soo Bin during difficult times. Infuriated, Yeji walked away. Se-na, still fuming, marched straight to Ju Hyuk. Seeing him struggle to open a water bottle, she snatched it and drank without hesitation. As her anger subsided, she finally caught her breath. Her first words were a curse directed at Dayoon. Seeing the object of his affection so upset, Ju Hyuk performed a silly dance to cheer her up. Despite the awkwardness of his performance, Se-na found herself amused. Perhaps fate was smiling on the goofy boy. Se-na found herself developing feelings for Ju Hyuk. While she wouldn't call him handsome, she didn't find his antics annoying either. That evening, alone at home, Dayoon plotted her revenge against Yeji, contacting someone to dig up dirt on both Yeji and Seon-jae. On the day of the arts festival, the participating students gathered in the multimedia room. So Bin's prolonged absence worried Yeji. She glanced at his empty seat, feeling anxious and restless. Seon-jae, noticing her unease, knew she was thinking about Su-bin. Despite a pang of jealousy, he accepted the truth. As the competition began, the performers took to the stage one by one. When most of the acts had finished, Sei-na took her turn, delivering a flawless performance. Yi-ji and Seon-jae were the last to perform. Haunted by the past incident, Yi-ji faltered at the edge of the stage, fear threatening to paralyze her. Seon-jae offered to withdraw, but Yi-ji, displaying unexpected resilience, pushed through her fear and stepped into the spotlight. Sensing her lingering anxiety, Seon-jae suggested she sing directly to him. His advice worked, calming her nerves. Once she regained her composure, they began their performance. Their seamless collaboration captivated the audience. As the crowd applauded, Dayoon launched her attack. She had someone hack into the school's sound system, broadcasting the damaging information she had gathered about Seon-jae and Yi-ji. As confusion rippled through the audience, Su-bin suddenly appeared in front of Dayoon, unwilling to let Yi-ji be humiliated again. He swiftly disabled the audio, confronting Dayoon about her malicious act. He berated her for her cruelty and underhanded tactics. For Yi-ji, Su-bin's appearance on stage was deeply moving. Dayoon's malicious plan had been twofold: to humiliate both Sei-na and Yi-ji, and to continuously harass Su-bin, digging up dirt on both of them. She intended to publicly shame her rivals and ruin Yi-ji's life. As Yi-ji and Seon-jae finished their performance, thunderous applause filled the room. Unseen, Dayoon connected her recording device to the multimedia system's audio, ready to expose their secrets. After a series of jarring noises, the sound of two men talking filled the room. The recording featured a conversation where they discussed Yi-ji, falsely accusing her of accepting bribes to boost her friend's online popularity. On stage, Yi-ji listened to the slanderous accusations with a mixture of disgust and disbelief. Before the entire recording could play, Su-bin appeared, striding towards Dayoon and switching off the device. This scene mirrored the previous incident. Although Su-bin had intervened, Yi-ji's image was tarnished yet again in front of her peers. Many were now openly critical of her. Yi-ji, already the victim of a cruel prank, was furious with Dayoon. But the whispers and judgment of her classmates stung even more. Before anyone could say anything more, the teacher called Yi-ji to the office. So-bin stood there, stunned and speechless. Yi-ji wasn't the only one facing trouble. Ju Hyuk was also experiencing difficulties. As a trainee, he was filming a video with the other aspiring idols. His boisterous personality often led him to hog the spotlight, treating himself as the main character and relegating others to supporting roles. This behavior earned him the resentment of his fellow trainees, although they hid their true feelings in front of the camera. Aware of their disapproval, Ju Hyuk became more reserved. After the practice session, he apologized, promising to improve. The trainee in the white shirt, however, berated him, while the trainee in the black shirt offered words of encouragement. The trainee in white then suggested they take advantage of the manager's absence and have a drink. Ju Hyuk, terrified because he had never consumed alcohol, declined. The trainee in white became angry, but the trainee in black intervened, suggesting Ju Hyuk try a non-alcoholic beverage. Coaxed by the trainee in black, Ju Hyuk reluctantly took a large gulp, instantly regretting it. The unfamiliar taste and the sudden intake of liquid caused him visible discomfort. Over time, the bullying escalated. As two of the bullies left the company, they watched a video on their phones, laughing at Ju Hyuk's expense. Sei-na, sitting on the sidewalk, overheard their conversation and saw the video. She immediately went looking for him. Inside the company, Ju Hyuk was now visibly intoxicated. The other trainees, seizing the opportunity, filmed him in his drunken state, intending to further damage his reputation. The trainee in black, no longer hiding his disdain, revealed his long-held resentment towards Ju Hyuk, admitting the whole incident was a pre-planned setup. As the bullies continued to mock Ju Hyuk, Sei-na suddenly appeared, startling them. She began filming them. Panicked, they covered their faces and quickly left. Fortunately, Sei-na's timely arrival prevented further harassment. She checked on Ju Hyuk, whose anxiety visibly eased upon seeing her. He gratefully accepted her offer to help him leave. Elsewhere on campus, Yi-ji wandered around listening to music. Seon-jae quietly approached and changed the song on her headphones. Surprised by his playful gesture and discovering his hidden musical talent, Yi-ji teased him back. Their conversation took on a flirtatious tone. To diffuse the awkwardness, Yi-ji playfully shoved Seon-jae. Seon-jae, however, was head over heels in love. He confessed his feelings, leaving Yi-ji stunned. Before she could react, he walked away. Watching from a distance, Su-bin saw Yi-ji smile at Seon-jae's confession. Realizing he had lost his chance, he decided to leave the school. He met with Dayoon, informing her that they wouldn't see each other again. Dayoon, heartbroken by the impending breakup, was speechless as memories of their past flooded her mind. So Bin returned the money he had borrowed from Dayoon, effectively ending their relationship. He then met with Yi-ji in the park. For the first time, he confessed everything, revealing the full story of his complicated relationship with Dayoon. Yi-ji forgave him, seeing her understanding and lack of judgment. Soo-bin finally confesses his love for Yi-ji. His confession led Yi-ji to believe they would finally be together. However, Soo-bin's impending graduation left her reeling. Devastated by the loss, Yi-ji became withdrawn and listless, desperately trying to contact him without success. Finally, she reached out to Dayoon. They met at school, both grappling with the aftermath of Soo-bin's departure. With Soo-bin gone, Yi-ji found solace in her friendship with Seon-jae, while Dayoon, having alienated everyone, was once again alone. The emotional turmoil had taken its toll on everyone involved. Se-na and Ju Hyuk were the only ones who emerged from the ordeal, relatively unscathed. Se-na's talent won her first place in the competition, while Ju Hyuk's efforts earned him the popularity award. Their shared experience brought them closer, and Se-na finally acknowledged her romantic feelings for Ju Hyuk. At the classroom door, Se-na saw Dayoon giving away lipstick to other classmates. Annoyed, she tried to avoid her, but Dayoon, during break time, deliberately sought Se-na out. Their initial conversation about Ju Hyuk remained civil, but when Dayoon mocked Se-na's victory, implying it was similar to her contrived scholarship nomination, the tension escalated. Se-na retorted that she had won effortlessly, then criticized Dayoon for trying to buy popularity with lipstick. Dayoon tried to defend herself, but Se-na pressed on. Losing her composure, Dayoon lashed out, insulting Se-na's poverty and accusing her of ingratitude. Se-na, deeply hurt, pointed out that she hadn't asked for Dayoon's help and that Dayoon's achievements were due to her parents' influence. Dayoon, not to be outdone, demanded Se-na pay for the scholarship, revealing her deceitful manipulation. Realizing she had been tricked, Se-na erupted in anger. But Dayoon held the upper hand, knowing Se-na couldn't afford it, and continued to taunt her. Their argument escalated into a public spectacle. Seeing Dayoon's humiliating behavior, Yi-ji intervened, only to be shoved aside. Infuriated, Yi-ji slapped Dayoon. Dayoon feigned innocence, dramatically claiming she had nothing left. Disgusted by her act, Yi-ji calmly explained her wrongdoings, then walked away without looking back. As the confrontation ended, the surrounding crowd dispersed. After settling the score with Dayoon, Yi-ji went to the park to look at pictures of Soo-bin. Seon-jae arrived with milk, and Yi-ji, mistaking him for Soo-bin, quickly offered to pay. Realizing she was still pining for Soo-bin, Seon-jae recounted a private conversation he had had with him. Before leaving school, Soo-bin had visited Seon-jae. Initially, Seon-jae had tried to send him away, but relenting, he allowed him inside. During their conversation, Seon-jae, annoyed, interrupted Soo-bin. Sensing Seon-jae's dislike, Soo-bin revealed he was only saying things Yi-ji liked, entrusting his feelings for her to Seon-jae, sharing Soo-bin's words and actions with Yi-ji. Seon-jae helped her realize that the person she loved wasn't coming back. For Seon-jae, however, his pursuit of Yi-ji was lifelong. Meanwhile, Yi-ji, still conflicted, received a visit from the upperclassman seeking to clear his name. He revealed the manipulated video that had tarnished his reputation. Initially, Yi-ji ignored him, but overhearing a phone conversation implicating her, she became intrigued. After watching the video, she finally understood the truth behind the nude photo incident. Refusing to be manipulated, she immediately photographed the upperclassman's confession and posted it online, clearing her name. Thanks to Yi-ji's online popularity, the post quickly went viral, revealing the truth to everyone. Months later, Yi-ji had found peace. In the absence of Soo-bin, she had become a popular TikToker, regularly interacting with her followers and sharing her music. Seon-jae, unable to be with Yi-ji romantically, found solace in playing music in the school's free practice room. Although their relationship hadn't progressed, they maintained a silent connection, acknowledging each other from afar. While Yi-ji sang during a live stream, Seon-jae, in a moment of synchronicity, played the same song in the practice room. As usual, Yi-ji checked the letters in her locker, still carrying the sadness of Soo-bin's departure, but determined to move on. She continued her live streams and visited the free practice room to listen to music. During one such visit, Soo-bin returned to the school, seeking to surprise Yi-ji. He quietly approached her and gently touched her pinky finger. Yi-ji realized the person she had secretly loved was standing before her. Recognizing the gesture as a symbol of his love, she finally understood. The episode ends here. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.